Hello and welcome to the second episode of Lab Pals, where we basically document all of the unique microorganisms that we find. And today we're taking some samples from a local pond again. And you can see that here. So I took my test tube out and just took a surface sample here, kind of by the silty shore of that pond, and get a kind of yellowish water. And this sample alone is more than enough for seeing some unique things in our microscope. But I did decide to take a sample from a local stream as well, and you can see that here. I'm not even sure where that stream comes from because I believe it starts on private property, but it goes to public property. It is a natural stream, however. You can see both samples here next to each other, and the one on the left is from the pond. So all of the things we see will come from both of these samples. And the first one we're looking at, I call it the vacuum nozzle because it looks like a vacuum nozzle that you'd put on a vacuum. And here's a good freeze frame of it. It moves a little sporadically, so I freeze it to be able to get a better look at it sometimes. There it is again. It has a kind of fin on one side and a gourd shape kind of bulb end on the other. And it twists through its movement. So as it moves, it kind of makes a corkscrew shape. But it has a pretty easy time tumbling as well, as you can see here. And it has little cilia on, like little legs on the one end. You can kind of see them in this shot here. And yeah, it likes to hang around small particulate matter, as you can see. But yeah, pretty cool. There's that twisting motion again. Yeah, pretty awesome looking thing. Not much more to say about that, but just here's some more cool shots that I took of it. Because of its twisting motion, it again is kind of hard to focus on it. I don't have a setup that can like auto track these sorts of things. This is focused at 100 times, so they're very intense movements. You can kind of see these two smaller things following after it here, but yeah, that's kind of what it does. That's the moves it makes. It almost also looks like a leg, like a leg and foot. So that's kind of funny. This just a cool thing. I can only presume it might be algae. I thought it would look cool. This thing that's spinning here is this kind of rigid body creature that also kind of tumbles as it moves. I thought it had a pretty unique shape. I don't see like many visible legs on it or anything to propel itself, but it likes to take up that spinning motion there that you saw just now. It seems to kind of tumble around and randomly take up that spinning motion. Here's another stationary thing, I believe algae of some kind again, but I like the symmetry. This is sort of similar to the first rigid looking thing that we just showed. It has this weird outcropping on it as well. So what I kind of like about this is it's not symmetric. It's very weird looking. Has kind of an anvil type shape. And here's some sped up motion. This is a kind of obloid shaped or spherical shaped thing that has many cilia or legs on it. And yeah, this is kind of the most that it does. It has a very slow movement. Also another what I assume to be algae with nice radial and spherical symmetry and tiny spokes on it. This is definitely one of my favorites. It's a ellipsoid body with this weird yellowish kind of tube that goes through it, and that tube has a symmetry as well, but there's kind of like a clear center of that tube, and then as you get towards the ends of either tube, they are yellow colored, yellow brownish colored, and that whole thing is encased in that ellipsoidal body. This one has more of an erratic, slow and erratic kind of motion. Like the motion doesn't seem as coordinated as some of the other ones. So I've sped up the motion here so that you can see it. But yeah, it seems to be much more chaotic in terms of its directionality, but very interesting nonetheless. I also enjoy this one here, which is this tooth-shaped one that kind of has these two divided legs on one end and a very rounded nose on the other side. And on the inside there's a very discernible set of green blotches inside of it. So that's pretty cool. And it's likely that this green pigmentation is carried, I would think, due to the presence of chlorophyll, and these may be chloroplasts that allow the creation of energy through photosynthesis. And here is the sped up footage, just showing the movement of this organism here. And here's some more algae that is interesting to see. Again, very radially symmetric, And then what I assume to be algae, which has formed a biaxial type of symmetry, where it's developed this grid shape where you have 32 of these individual units, and they're bonded together in a way, as you see here. So again, very cool. I think one of the most interesting parts of seeing this life up close, is the inherent symmetry of it. And again, some more of what I assume to be algae. And you can see with all these examples of algae the greenish pigmentation. This one has a greenish brown pigmentation. I'm not sure that this is algae related, but the interesting thing about this is it has that very long tail. You can kind of see it here in the video, which may be like a flagellum of some kind. And then this structure is another algae which carries that radial symmetry. It's just, in this example, it is much more ornate. Very cool. And then our last finding here is this very asymmetric looking thing that moves very slowly. It twists when it moves. It has a very darkly pigmented half and a sort of rounded, transparent other half. But you can see the distinct feature on this one is that on one side there is a weird antenna shaped structure that seems to be a rigid structure, and it just kind of is like this strange outcropping. And yeah, I don't know too much about this one, to be honest. I just found it interesting because of that strange antenna looking thing on the other end of it, the end with the higher brownish pigmentation. And I couldn't really see any hair-like cilia on it, so I don't know exactly where it's propelling itself because I can't see it that well. But yeah, I thought that was cool, and thanks for watching.